look at this. That pitch, the pitcher wants, called as a strike, but it's a ball. In the same at-bat, he gets strike 3, and the batter wants it as a ball. And if you take a closer look at both pitches, they are a ball apart, and one found the zone, and the other didn't. And you look at it there, and you're like, all right, good call, Blue. You had it. They weren't in the same spot. They were different. You just got to be consistent. You always see umpires go to the batter side of the plate, but he's still finding dead center. Like, he's lined up with the plate. And what I even liked more when I watched this was the dance he does with the catcher. So he's going to react with the catcher, and catchers react really late because they don't want to give away to the hitter where they're setting up. And he's moving late with them. So first, I was looking on the outside and the inside edge because those don't change batter to batter. That's just the plate. So it's easier to be consistent left and right, inside, outside, because that doesn't change. And he was really consistent on this side of the plate, his right side. So he calls both of those strikes, and if you overlap them, damn consistent. They're both strikes. Now he calls all of these balls, and some of them are as close as you can get, but they are a ball in. This one to Tucker right here, they do say that based off his preferences, the way he was calling buffer zone, this one should have been called a strike, but he called it a ball. So that's one of the 5 they're saying, like, was wrong according to the estimated strike zone. And that one, I don't know if it's high or inside, but look, when you overlay these, they are a ball different. And the ones on the inside got called strikes, and the ones on the outside got called balls. And he set up that line all game and stayed true to it, which I think is all hitters really want. Is like, just get it there. Even when a righty was up, that side of the plate, he was pretty dialed in. Those were both called strikes. That one's called a ball. This one's a little out, called a ball. And then this one is kind of low and outside, and they're saying that he called that one different than his preferences. That was one of the ones they said, according to how he called the rest of the game, he probably should have called that a ball. But look at that. Those are both strikes. 2 different pitches from 2 different arm slots, but yeah, they're there. So it's nice to have consistency. Now these, one's a ball and one's a strike, and yeah, they are different when you compare them. Same with this. One's a ball, one's a strike, and yep, they're like a ball apart. So he was really consistent. And then let's take a look at the other edge of the plate. Now, he didn't get a lot of calls there. That one he called a strike, and this is also one of the 5 that they're saying based on his zone, that's probably a ball. But Bohm kind of steals strikes as a batter a lot. I want to go into that a little bit because I was watching that. Now, this is the inside to righties with a lefty pitching. And again, calls that a strike, calls that a strike, and calls this one a strike, and that one a ball. And when you line up the 3 strikes, they're all, doing the same dance as they cross the plate. But this is where I'm talking about that maybe the batter stole this ball because these pitches are really similar. Now, if you're going to go really fine-tuned, the one that is a little more inside did get called a ball, while the one a little more over the plate got called a strike. But they're really similar, and I wonder if Bohm sticking his ass out like that helps sell to the umpire that that was inside, where Castellanos just stays still, keeps his legs right where they were, and that, I wonder how much the batter can affect the call by doing that stuff. Later on, it seems like something like that happens as well. Now let's look at low and high. There wasn't that many high pitches, and low was, it's interesting, because this changes batter to batter. So that's a strike, and Bohm can't believe it. And yes, that's one of the 5 pitches that they say, yeah, that goes against how he called the rest of the game. And that one's a ball. So if you take a look at both of those overlaid, again, we got Castellanos and Bohm up. And Bohm's back knee is really bent to the ground on the right side. And Castellanos, he stays upright. Now, these pitches they're really similar, and they go different ways. And these batters are similar heights. And I wonder, again, if Bohm gets that strike called on him because he drops his knee, if that comes into play at all. I doubt it really does. I don't know if the umpire can look at his knee mid-swing. But maybe. Keep going on the low strikes. We got McCormick up, and that one gets called a strike. You got 2 catchers that really frame the ball. That one gets called a strike. This one, that's Diaz. That's called a strike. Castellanos, that one's called a strike. He doesn't agree with that. And Hoskins, that one's called a strike. They're all similar, so that's the line, right? But then this one, Therese, is called a ball, and the Astros really wanted that. Let's take a look at the 2 pitches to McCormick. Same batter, same height, pitches thrown, and same spot. So they were both called strikes. Now these were called differently to Hoskins. One's called a ball, one's called a strike, same height batter. And if you look at it, you know, they're very similar, but one maybe catches the edge and the other doesn't because the calls are consistent with where the balls are. The one higher up called a strike, the one lower called a ball. Very similar, but that was what he was doing. It's crazy impressive. And after spending a lot of this week looking at all this footage, watching the pitches, comparing it to other umpires, came away with something that I already knew. Umpiring is really, really hard.